Okay, so let's talk some materials for our snowman. First and foremost, a given is our 3.5. Yeah, you guessed it. We'll need some stitch markers. I keep those on my brace. We're gonna need a yarn needle. We're gonna need some scissors. Quilting pins always are optional, but this is gonna help us. Maybe I should get this chalk out of here. I use that when I sew. It looks kind of weird in there. Sorry, tangent. The quilting pins are always optional, but it's gonna help us when we are attaching the nose and the top hat. If you don't have them, it's really not a big deal, but it is something that could be helpful if you do have them. We will need some eyeballs. The eyeballs that I used was a size 10. For me, that's there. I actually need to replenish them. I got like maybe a project and a half left of that size 10. We're gonna need some yarn. For me, I used red. This is gonna be for at the bottom of the brim of the hat, there's a little bit a stripe. We're gonna use red for that. Our top hat itself is gonna be this charcoal gray. I decided not to do black because I just wanted to be a little bit different. We will need white, of course, for the head itself. So you're gonna need some white. And lastly, you will need your orange for the nose. And the very, very last thing that we're gonna need is some polyfill. The polyfill is gonna be for the head of the snowman and for the top hat. And I think that's it. Aside from your chai or coffee or some good music, we are good to go. All right, so we're gonna start with the head of our snowman. And so for the head, what we're gonna do is start with a magic circle and put 6 single crochets inside of our magic circle. So let's do our magic circle and then 6 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's go ahead and close that up. Row number 2 is going to be a round of increases. Excuse me. So 2 single crochets in each stitch. And you're going to do this all the way around. Row number 3 is going to be 1 single crochet and then an increase. 1 single crochet and then an increase. And you're going to do that all the way around. Row number 4 is going to be 2 single crochets and then an increase. 1, 2, and then an increase. 1, 2, and then an increase. You're going to do that all the way around. Alright, row 5 is going to be 3 single crochets and an increase. 1, 2, 3, and then an increase. 1, 2, 3, and then an increase. You're going to do that all the way around. Row 6 is going to be our final row of increases, and that's going to be 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then an increase, and you're going to do that all the way around. Okay, so for rows 7 through 10, we're going to do 1 single crochet in each stitch. So I'm going to do mine off camera, and I will meet you back here once my row 10 is done, and we will continue together after that. Row number 11 is going to be, let's see, 4 single crochets and then a decrease. So we're going to bring this thing in. So that's 2, 3, 4, and then a decrease. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then a decrease. And you're going to do that all the way around. Row 12 is going to be 3 single crochets and then a decrease. We're almost there, y'all. 1, 2, 3, and then a decrease. decrease, and you're going to do this all the way around. Row 14 is going to be 1 single crochet and then a decrease, so 1 and then a decrease, 1 and then a decrease all the way around. So after row number 14, our hole is, I mean, it's kind of small, but it's big enough to insert our eyeballs. So I'm going to insert my eyeballs now. So the size I'm using is a size 10. And for me, that's going to be right there. So I'm going to grab 2 of these little eyeballs here. Just give me a second. I need my eyes and I need my backs. 1 and 2. I always fear that I'm like not gonna clasp this right and all my eyes are gonna go flying. It hasn't happened yet, but fingers crossed. Okay, so what we're gonna do is start our magic circle, and we're gonna count between rows 8 and 9 and place our eyeballs. So magic circle, that's row number 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So we're gonna place our eyeball right there. And I just like to double count just to make sure. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. And then we're going to put our eyes in stitches 1 and 6. So the stitch that we just put our eye number 1 is going to count as 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 is going to go here. So let me go ahead and put my backs in here. And I will meet you back here to do our final row, which is row number 15. Okay, row number 15 is just going to be decreases all the way around, and that just looks like that. So after you do your decreases all the way around, what you're going to do is stuff this guy. I want my snowman fairly stuffed, so fairly firm, because this is going on my tree. So, you know, stuff is as firm or not firm as you will, but I'm going to go ahead and do that off camera. When I come back, my snowman will be stuffed, and I am going to close the hole at the top. Okay, so I will see you in a bit. All right, this is what I'm looking like once mine is all finished in the center. And we are going to start now on our hat. So for my hat, I didn't do like a black, I did more like a charcoal, just to give, I don't know, a little bit of flavor, a little bit of swag to our snowman. So I'm gonna grab that yarn, and I'm gonna start with a magic circle. In that magic circle, I'm gonna put 6 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. This one honestly is a lot easier to work with than black. If you know, you know. Black is really hard to work with, especially in dim lighting, which I try to have as much lighting as I can in my office, but black is rough. Row number 2 is going to be a row of increases. So we're going to do an increase all the way around. Again, that's 2 single crochets in 1 stitch. Go ahead and do that all the way around. Row number 3 is going to be 1 single crochet and then an increase. So 1 single crochet and then an increase. 1 single crochet and then an increase all the way around. Row number 4 is going to be 2 single crochets and then an increase. 1, 2, and then an increase. 1, 2, and then an increase all the way around. Alright, for row number 5, we're going to do 1 single crochet in each stitch, but in back loop only. Back loop only, we're literally just taking the back loop of our stitch. We're going to go all the way around, back loop only, and what this is going to do is going to help us to identify the top of our top hat versus the sides of our top hat. After this row, you'll notice, and I'll show you once we get there, that your crochet work will start to point downward, and that's what we want to, again, identify the it looks ugly, to identify the top of our top hat versus the bottom of our top hat. So let me go ahead and do this back loop only, 1 single crochet all the way around, and then I'll meet you back to show you what it looks like. If I can get this stitch, there we go. So I'm done with my row number 5, that back loop only. And if you flatten, let me just show you what I was talking about before. If you flatten your work out a little bit, you'll see just slightly that row number 5 is starting to point downward. You see that little bump? And that's what we want. So as we start to build down, as we do more rows of single crochets, you'll start to notice that dramatic difference in the direction of your work, and that's what we want. So for rows 6 through 9, we're going to do 1 single crochet in each stitch, and I'm going to do that off camera. So go ahead and do that, and then meet me back here and I'll show you what I'm looking like. Alright, so I'm at the end of my round number 9, and what I want to do is actually grab some red yarn. This is going to be the lining at the bottom of the top hat for our snowman. And I'm going to change to my red. I'm not going to cut my gray yarn because I'm literally only doing 1 row of red. So I'm just going to kind of push it to the back a little bit, and I'll pick it up in my row number 11. So for row number 10, I'm just, again, pushing that gray to the back, and I'm going to do 1 row of red all the way around. So go ahead and do that and meet me back. Okay, and I made it back to my last stitch for row number 10, and I'm just gonna take that gray that we didn't cut off, and I'm gonna untangle it first and just pick it back up, being sure to move my stitch marker and being sure to tighten up that red so that we don't have any unnecessary gaps. So I'm gonna go ahead and go into row number 11, and row number 11 is gonna be front loop only, 1 single crochet in each stitch. So remember, in our row number 5, it was back loop only because we wanted our work to kind of start going down. You see what we're looking like? For starting in row number 11, we want our work to bellow out because this is going to be the brim of the hat. We don't want it to go down, we want it to go out. So we're going to do front loop only. Alright, so front loop only is just literally the opposite of back loop. Back loop for me right now would be that one. Front loop is going to be this one right here. Okay, or actually it's not going to be 1 single crochet in each stitch. I apologize. It's 1 single crochet and then an increase. So we're going to do, and I am going to crochet over my red because again, I don't like to leave in ends at the end. So 1 single crochet and then an increase in the next stitch. So 1 single crochet and then 2 single crochets in that same stitch because it's an increase. So 1 single crochet and then 2 single crochets. And let me cut this red, show you what it looks like a little bit more clear if you need that. So 1 single crochet in the front loop and then 2 single crochets for an increase in the next one, like that. And go ahead and do that all the way around. Alright, so this is what I'm looking like so far. And you can see our work is starting to kind of push out a little bit like that. So we are almost done. We just have row number 12, which is going to be 1 single crochet in each stitch all the way around, and that's just going to give us a little bit of bulk to our brim because right now it looks a little scampy. So we want to give it a little bit of bulk. So we literally are just going to do 1 single crochet all the way around, and that will finish our top hat for our snowman. So go ahead and do that, and I will meet you back here. Okay, and this is what we are looking like for our hat, and you can really see how like row number 5 with that back loop only helped us to start pointing our work downward, and then with that row number, row number 11, we started to push our work outward with that front loop only. It really makes a difference. So that's what we're looking like so far. Super cute. And on our snowman, that's what it looks like. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Okay, so what we need to do now is our nose. He's not a snowman without a carrot nose. So let's go ahead and do that. All right, we are pulling out our orange yarn, and we are going to start with a magic circle. And in our magic circle, we're going to do 4 single crochets 2, 3, 4, and this is going to be the point of our nose once we flip it inside out. Okay, row number 2 is going to be 1 single crochet in each stitch, so you should have 4. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Row number 3, you're going to do an increase, and at this point I like to flip my work inside out because it gets really tight right now. Because we didn't have that many single crochets inside of our magic circle, it gets really tight. So I'm going to flip that over. Row number 3 is going to be 2 single crochets in each stitch, which is an increase. So 1, 2, keep going all the way around. It does get a little bit crowded, and that's okay. It's just because our work is so small. So go ahead and do that all the way around. And our final row is just going to be row number 4 is 1 single crochet in each stitch all the way around, and that is it for our nose. Okay, in terms of pieces, we are done. We have the head of our snowman ornament, we have the hat of our ornament, we have the nose. Okay, so what we need to do is assemble all these things. What I would like to do first is to do the hat. And so for the hat, what I'm gonna do is lightly stuff the center of the hat and then put it on top of my snowman and then sew around the brim. Okay, you don't have to stuff too firm, but you want it firm enough to where your hat doesn't, like, you see how like it squishes? You don't want it to squish. Now it will kind of this top right here will kind of overstuff, like it'll go up like that if you overstuff it. So you want to be sure as you're stuffing to make sure it stays flat. Okay, so let me go ahead and do mine, and I'll show you what I'm looking like once I'm done. Alright, so after you stuff your hat, the stuffing will look like it's overflowing, at least for me, because I want my hat to be a little bit firm. So when you place your hat on top of your snowman, just be careful to kind of stuff everything in so that filling doesn't come out. You want to place the hat on top of the head, and the brim will kind of go down, like it's flexible. That's fine, you can fix that later, but you just want to make sure this guy is in place. I'm gonna take my quilting pins and I'm gonna hold this guy in place so that I can sew it. So I'm just gonna get my quilting pins and I'm gonna use the brim to help me place the pins to hold this in place. And I'm just gonna use like 4 or 5 pins, nothing fancy, just to help me again hold it in place. And so what that does, it literally just keeps it there so that I can get my yarn needle and I can go ahead and start sewing. So I'm going to use this long tail that I left and I'm going to start sewing this around. So I'm just going in right underneath that red. Right underneath that red, and I'm just sewing all the way around. For me, I'm not going in every single stitch just because I don't think it's necessary, but I'm going in enough stitches to anchor the hat to the snowman head and to make sure that polyfill doesn't come out. So use your best judgment there, but for me, I think that's fine. If you want to go, you know, in every stitch, go for it. If you want to do multiple rounds of not going in every single stitch, then go for it. Oh gosh, why is this not coming through? Oh, because I got my quilting pin there. Put that away. Okay, so I'm at the end, and let me go ahead and wrap this up by knotting this off and then hiding the tail, and then I'll show you what I'm looking like. Okay, so this is what mine looks like with the hat all sewed in, and that guy's not going anywhere. So what I want to do next is put the nose in. I am not going to stuff the nose, but I am going to put this tail from the magic circle. Just you know, let me cut that off because that's kind of annoying. And I'm just going to again get a quilting pin, I'm gonna find the center of my magic circle. This is just to hold it in place. It doesn't have to be the center if you don't want to. And I'm just gonna find the center between my eyes, just like that. And I'm trying to figure out if I want it higher or lower. I think right there is good for me. So I went about a row underneath the eyes, but kind of overlapping. So if our eyes are rows 8 and 9, I'm kind of overlapping row 9 just a little bit, which is probably going to take me to between rows 8 and 9, which is fine. I think I like it right there. So roughly start your nose between rows 8 and 9 in line with the eye. I'm going to try to get mine a little bit beneath that, but it's kind of hard when you're sewing, if you know what I mean, like, because you use the stitches to help guide where your things are being placed. So let's see if I can get it. So I'm actually just gonna sew this all the way around, and I will meet you back here once I've done that. Alright, so this is what mine is looking like. I got a little bit over row number 9, but it's still pretty much like row 9. Okay, so the last thing we need to do here is we need to do our smile, because our snowman's looking kind of crazy without a smile right now. So what I'm gonna do is get that charcoal yarn. You can definitely use a black if you want to, but the charcoal's right in front of me. So I'm gonna get the charcoal yarn. I'm gonna go into a place that's just random. I'm gonna come up, let's go. So my nose is, let's see, if this is row 8, that's 9, 10, 11, 12. I'm going under row number 12 because that's kind of where my nose stops. And I'm gonna go 1 stitch to the left of my nose. Go in, leave a decent amount on the side because we need that later. And I'm gonna go the same on the other side. So for me, that's 1, 2, 3, 4. It may not be 4 for you, but I'm going 4 over because that's the stitch after my nose. So after my nose, the stitch is right there. So I'm gonna go out of a random place. Right now, our smile looks like a line, right? You wanna make sure there's enough slack to actually give him a smile. So kind of figure out what that smile looks like. And what I'm gonna do now is go in through a random place. I'm gonna come up. Right underneath my smile, because I want my smile to be kind of big. And what I'm gonna do is go on top of that line, just like that. So that's what you're looking like so far. And I'm gonna go back into that same hole and then come out of the place we came in. And so what that's gonna do is it's gonna give us the illusion of a smile. Be very careful here though, because if you pull too tight, your smile will become a V. That's why I told you to leave a little bit of slack so your smile can look like a smile. And when you pull that, it gives you the illusion of a V. I mean a U. And if you find that you pulled too tight or you didn't leave enough slack, just kind of play around with it. Like you can pull from either side and it'll give you a little bit of slack. To make the smile a little bit more of a U and less of a V. Okay, so that's what we're looking like. What I'm gonna do now is go ahead and tie this off. I'm gonna tie 2 knots, but I'm not gonna pull too tight, because if you pull too tight, that V will become more pronounced. So you wanna just tie just enough so that your yarn doesn't come undone. And I'm just gonna go ahead and hide this in my work. So go into that same stitch and then just pull up somewhere random so that we can hide that. And I usually just go again just for giggles. It really is not necessary. But I just go in again. There we go. And let me just cut this. And the very last thing we need to do is to add a string so that we can tie this to our tree. Okay, how I'm gonna do that is super simple. I'm just gonna get some yarn. I'm going to get my yarn needle, and this is, I want to do the charcoal just because it looks a little bit better with the hat. But I'm just gonna go into my magic circle just like that. I'm gonna tie a knot. Actually, it's okay. I'll do it this way. I was gonna do a different type of join, but that's okay. I'll do it this way. It's easier this way. I'm gonna pull this really tight because we don't want that to come undone. I'm gonna cut the excess off. And I mean, essentially you're done at this point, but what I want to do is just hide that knot just because I don't like it. So I'm just gonna pull, see if I can pull it through. If I can't pull it through, I'm gonna get my crochet hook and I'm gonna just kind of navigate this thing in if I can. There we go. Just pull the knot in. It's not necessary, it really is not necessary, but I didn't like the knot there. And so that's what we are looking like. I'm just making sure my hat is not getting deformed because I used my crochet hook to manipulate that knot in. And that's what we're looking like. Super cute, super cute, super cute. All right, so this is what our snowman is looking like. I had a lot of fun with this one. It was super simple, but it was one of those I had to trust the process, if I'm being honest with you. I was you know, in the creation process, I made the nose and I was like, we're looking kind of duckish. And then I added the smile and I was like, okay, cool. With the hat, it was like, oh, is the brim gonna look the way I want it to? Like, is this thing gonna, like, you know, go down the way I want it to? But it was a really fun creative process for me, so I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. What can you do with this pattern? So what can we do to make this thing your own? What I like to do, if you are new to my channel, I like to give you some things that you can do to get gifted, to kind of put your personal touch on it, to sell it at a vendor's event. That's kind of popular right now with the season. So I give you the base pattern with not a lot of bells and whistles so that you can add the bells and whistles to make the thing your own. So for this guy, he doesn't have a lot added to him. It's just a basic snowman with a hat, right? So what you could do is you could add some rosy cheeks, get some pink yarn, do like maybe a magic circle with, I don't know, like 4 single crochets and put some cheeks on him. That'd be really cool. You could add like maybe a mistletoe or something, or some berries on top. That would be kind of cool. You could like play around with the placement of the hat. You could add a scarf. You could add a body to your snowman. If you add the body of the snowman is slightly bigger than the head, so we increased to 4 single crochets and then an increase on the head, so you may want to go like 5 or 6. If you're a more advanced crocheter and you understand what I'm talking about, that might be kind of cute. So, you know, do a circle but increase up to like 5 or 6. That might be actually really cute with the scarf. You could, if you wanted to take away the top hat, you use the base of our head and you could make a Santa hat. That might be cool too, with a little pom-pom on the end. So the possibilities are endless. Hopefully some of that triggered some creative spark so that you all can make this your own. If you like this video, go ahead and leave a thumbs up. Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe. I really appreciate everything, all the support that everyone has given me this year. It was very nerve-wracking to start a YouTube channel, but the love that I received was just so heartwarming. So thank you. Meet me back here next week for another tutorial every single Monday. I'm your girl every single Monday. Stay safe out there with everything going on in the world, you guys. Crochet some cool stuff, and I'll see you next week.